Welcome into our post-game coverage of the South Carolina-Missouri game from Memorial Stadium in Columbia, Missouri. Our coverage is brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council. The Gamecocks fall to the 20th ranked Missouri Tigers. Final score of 34-12. Last week, the Gamecocks found a way to blow a lead at home against Florida in a devastating loss to the team. Today, they found a way to dig themselves a big hole on the road against a quality team, but just could not catch up. Good effort in the second half, no question about that. Gamecocks did not quit. Cannot question how hard they played in the second half. Can't question how much smarter they played and how much better they played overall, especially on defense in the second half. But continued problems with penalties, drop balls, mistakes up front, not able to capitalize on opportunities in the red zone, not going to catch up when you're down 24-3 at the half when you have to settle for field goal. Give Shane Beamer credit for using good strategy at the end of the first half, or he called a timeout late, was able to get his team down the field for a field goal to get on the board. And he also continued to put points on the board, though they were field goals in the second half, in an effort to keep this a two-score game. So they would have a chance if they could get a turnover and knock in a touchdown. But that just did not happen against this Missouri team, which is well coached. They've got a very good offense. They've got an offensive line that can create holes, a quarterback who can run and throw, dangerous running back, weapons at wide receiver, and a very tough defensive front. So all that coming together for Missouri this year as they beat the Gamecocks for a fifth straight time. So a few other thoughts on the game. One of the big notes is the injury to Xavier Leggett, the star receiver, who missed over half the game because of an upper body injury suffered on a kickoff return. Thus, he only had one catch for 20 yards, and his absence, of course, was notable for the Gamecocks. Down 24-3 at the half, and the Gamecocks only had 73 first half yards to 294 for Missouri. It's complete domination, and you really thought this thing was going to get ugly in the second half. But the Gamecocks fought back, 213 second half yards to 124 for Missouri. The Gamecocks had drives that twice reached the Missouri 33, one to the 23, one to the 20, one to the 3, and could not score a touchdown on any of those drives. Again, they had 6 offensive penalties on the day, and those came at inopportune time. And then, of course, the sacks were big. Third down sacks by Missouri. They had 8 sacks on the day, make that 6 sacks on the day, but 8 tackles for loss for Missouri. Missouri finishes with 418 yards, 286 for the Gamecocks. Gamecocks threw for 217, Missouri 198, but Missouri rushed for 220. Their fine running back, Schrader, 159 yards. So another running back, well over 100 yards against this beleaguered Gamecock defense. The Gamecocks had only 69 rushing yards. Missouri averaged over 6 yards of play. They averaged over 14 yards a completion. They were 4 for 4 in the red zone. They are crazy good inside the red zone. Had 13 big plays on the day. So they were striking down the field. They were 7 of 13 on third down. The Gamecocks were only 3 of 13, thus all the field goals. Rattler was 23 of 40 for 217. He had a late interception. Was the game going to turn on that particular possession for the Gamecocks? If they knocked it in for a touchdown, it's possible. But he threw a deep ball down the field, and it was intercepted, and that pretty much did it for the Gamecocks. Any hopes they had of a comeback over at that point. Anderson had 12 carries for 68 yards for the Gamecocks, and Knox led the receivers 5 catches for 32 yards. Cook was 14 of 24 for Missouri, and their fine receiver Burton, who had the first touchdown catch down the field, 40 some odd yards. He finished with 4 catches for 90 yards. The Gamecocks fall to 2-5, 1-4 in SEC play. So there is a tough road to hoe now for Shane Beamer and company. He's got a team that confidence-wise has to be shaken now. Even though after the game they talked about how they're holding together, they talked about how at halftime leadership really emerged. The players took it upon themselves to play better and not be embarrassed in the second half, try and make a game out of it, and they did just that. But now, on top of the concerns about the defense, you have to be concerned about the offense. Did not score a touchdown today. So the Gamecocks go to Texas A&M next week. Then they finish up the season 4 games at home, and they may have to win all 4 of those games, including that last one against Clemson, to be bowl eligible. The question will be, how strong will this team hold together during this tough time? How much will the fans continue to support the Gamecocks when they get back home in a couple of weeks? They can continue to sell out the stadium, or will fans now kind of decide that they've lost their interest in this season and they've moved on to something else? We shall see as the weeks move on. So, tough day here in Missouri. 5 straight losses to the Tigers in this series. They win the Mayor's Cup again, and it's Columbia, Missouri reigning over Columbia, South Carolina this particular time. 34-12, the final. Missouri wins it here on homecoming for the Tigers. Thanks for checking us out. We'll get more on our website, sportstalksc.com, and on our Twitter at sportstalksc. We'll have Shane Beamer's conference call covered for you tomorrow night and talk about it, of course, on Sports Talk Monday night.